Hey everybody, this is Andy from Social Business Development here with the Google Keyword Tool. This is a great tool. I use it almost every day, probably too much actually. But you know, you can't not use this tool. It's free. I'm a Yorkshireman, and anybody who knows a Yorkshireman will tell you if it's for free we're going to use it. But not only is it free, it's really good, and it's a great indicator of what people are doing on Google. So let's begin. A couple of things to set up first before we do any searches whatsoever. This here, advanced options and filters, I have got this set up for the United Kingdom English. So if we were to click here, you can set which countries you want it to be. Now it might be that you're in Japan, you're in Germany, or you're in the United States, or your product or service that you're offering can go all over the world. Equally, you can have all languages, but I'm going to go for the UK and English. So in other words, people have got their Google searches set up to display English results. And the last one is what devices is desktop and laptops, because you can obviously say searches from mobile devices, things like that. So we're going to deal with that. So you can either A, go ahead and set yours up to what you want, or B, do it later when you have watched this video. But if you want to pause now and set yours up to be the same as mine, maybe United Kingdom English desktop and laptops, then we'll continue. Okay, so the next big thing is over here, match types. Now, the broad and exact. Exact is where we're going to start, because we're going to search for what the key phrases that people type exactly into Google. So for instance, Hollywood movie. Now if the square brackets means it's an exact search, so if I asked for Hollywood movie, let's just type that in, shall we? Hollywood movie, and do a search exact, not broad. Turns out only 210 people in the UK that have their browser set to English searched for Hollywood movie. The competition on it is very low. So if I did a broad search, however, for that, 135,000. Now what's the difference between a broad search and an exact search? Well, a broad search could be somebody typed in the history of the Hollywood movie, and because Hollywood movie was in that broad search, it will be in there. Could be anything. Hollywood movie, black and white, silent Hollywood movie, because of movies that are around at the moment. The modern movie that's a silent movie, and I haven't seen it and I can't remember the title. So that's the difference. So we're going to, however, stick to exact. So I'm going to imagine that we have a business, and the business is selling cameras. We have a camera shop in the UK, and we're going to put English because the UK is an English-speaking country, although we do welcome everybody over here. So let's type in the word camera and do an exact search and see what comes up. So first of all, we discover that 40,500 people search locally. Now, just as a matter of interest, I forgot to mention this. The columns here, you can set up what you want, and you can drag them to be displayed in the order that you want them to be displayed. So I am looking for local monthly searches rather than global. Global is everywhere in the world. Local is if you've specified a country or a language, which we have. These are the searches, the average on a month based over a year, of what people have typed in. Now it is an average, and I wouldn't say this, wouldn't take this as gospel, but it is a guide to you. So that's medium competition. The other thing is medium competition. So it's from 0 to 1, so 55, so that's 0.55. 55% of websites to do with cameras that are selling cameras, information on cameras, of 55% of them use the key phrase, exact key phrase, camera. So what we're going to look for, what we need to look for, are key phrases to do with camera that have a low competition but a high local monthly search. Now what's brilliant, and this is where this tool really comes into its own, is that if we was to scroll down here, Google gives us key phrase ideas. camera shops, camera world, camera sale, digital cameras, cheap camera, cheap cameras, what camera. Now what we're looking for is low competition, high monthly local searches. So let's sort it. You can click on competition, it'll sort it high to start with and then low. So let's go down here and see what we find. Any of interest? Oh, there's one of interest. What digital camera? 6,600 searches a month. Only 15% of the websites are actually using that. Now if someone's searching, they're asking the question, what digital camera? And then that if we had that key phrase on our site, and remember not many sites are actually using it, only 15%, then there's a very good chance relatively quickly we can get our site with that key phrase ranked onto page 1 or up Google as we go. So that's one interesting search. Now, red camera, I have no idea what that means. What camera is another one. What camera? Camera price buster, don't know what that means. But these are all great key phrases, right? But let's just work with DSLR. That stands for digital single lens reflex, if I remember my photography from a child. Again, that's a medium, so 38% of sites. But what we can do here, now we've selected those, we can do this more like these. And what this does, it's going to put them up here in the phrases and bring them to the front so that we can now use them as our exact searches, and it will bring other suggestions based on those three. So bit by bit you start honing the key phrases that you want, and what we're going to eventually do is we're going to output them to a file, and I'm going to show you what we do there. In fact, we could keep honing it to get, I try to get it up to about 10 usually, but let's just stick with these three. So what we're going to do is we're going to select those three there, and then we're going to download. This is really simple. So we're going to download the three that's selected into a CSV file. Dismiss that, you'll see it's offering me here to open in there. Let me just do this. Whoops, not that one. Whoops. I shall stop messing about. Here we go. So it's a read-only file. So what we're going to do is we're just going to grab everything, and I'm going to paste it into here so that you can see it. Now, what you'll see, it gives you all kinds of information, the global searches. Now I don't want these global searches, so I'm going to delete those columns, and in fact I don't want anything after here. You'll notice that it gives you the searches for the last year, which is, you might find really useful. I don't care, not for this little demonstration anyway. So delete those columns. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those and I'm going to copy them into a little spreadsheet that I prepare. So I'm going to do that. Let me undo that actually. I'm just going to paste them so that it's formatted correctly. So now what we're going to do is we have in here, and it nicely does away with that low, medium, high and puts in the amount of competition into there. So we've got an exact search, but what we would find very interesting now is how many people search for them in a broad search. In other words, what digital camera is part of other searches. Wow. See, look at the difference there. Wow, that is incredible. The difference is, let's just do the same again. Wow, that is ridiculous. I'm just trying to find where it's trying to import it to. There it is. So I'm going to grab that again and I'm going to insert it into there. You have to do that only because it's read only when it first downloads it, and it's quicker than trying to save it and reopen it. For this demonstration I'm going to quickly do this, so ignore me on this part. So I'm going to grab those again and I'm going to put them into our broad search now. Whoops, I keep forgetting to do that. Now what I've got here is two sets of data here, sorted slightly differently actually. Look at this. So let's just sort them so that they're the same as the one above. Whoa, 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 whoa. They're the wrong way around, so let's just do that again, to be descending, and that should make them the same. Right, so what we've got here is the exact searches, 6,600, and these huge number of searches for the broad. Now what we're going to move on to in a different video is long tail, but I think for exact key phrases that would be a really great start to have on your home page, in a H2 or H1 tag, what digital camera, leading to a page which tells them all about that. You're going to have roughly 6,600 people finding that, but only 15% of your competition is going to be searching for it. Okay, look, I'm going to call it a day there, only because we've been going on for about 11 minutes, and I want you to play around, just have fun, play around with the advanced filters, play around with broad versus exact, start messing around with putting your columns into the order that you want, so that you get this tool set up the way you want it. Have fun. This is Andy. I'm out of here. Bye.